This is one of my favorite books of all time. One of my favorite books. Not the favorite book, one of my favorite books. It is The Scarlet Pimpernel by Baroness Orczy. I never knew how to pronounce the bitch's name, but whatever. I bought this book, I don't even remember when I bought it, and I had really sort of kind of a vague idea what it was about. I would always get confused with this and The Scarlet Letter. So sometimes I would think The Scarlet Letter was what The Scarlet Pimpernel was, and The Scarlet Pimpernel, Scarlet Letter, Scarlet, everything Scarlet. But that's not the case. They're completely different. Just don't. Scarlet Letter's something not relevant in any way, shape, or form to The Scarlet Pimpernel. The Scarlet Pimpernel, you could say, was the first superhero. And not superhero in that he didn't really have any secret powers or anything. He had like an alias, which was the Scarlet Pimpernel, which was a flower. And as you can see in this cover, he goes under disguise. Sometimes he dresses as bad guys, and he slips in a little calling card with the shape of the Scarlet Pimpernel. And he sort of just trolls them. He's like, haha, I was here, kind of thing. But the Scarlet Pimpernel was like the precursor to Zorro, to Batman, to Superman, the Avengers. He has like this whole league of friends who help him out, so it's not just him, but he also has like his own league of the Scarlet Pimpernel, they call it. And the main character actually is not the Scarlet Pimpernel in this book, because obviously if it was, you would know who the Scarlet Pimpernel would be, which is, I mean, I don't want to give it away, but after seeing things like Batman and Zorro and things like that, like, I guess you can tell who it is. You know, it's not going to be that surprising when it shows up, but the main character is actually from the point of view of this woman named Marguerite, and she's part of English, upper class society. She came from France, and she has some relatives in France and stuff, and this is during the height of the Reign of Terror, when they were killing aristocrats left and right and stuff. And the whole premise of the book is that Marguerite is torn between fighting for the revolution or fighting for the aristocrats. And one of her best friends is this French agent that I cannot pronounce his name, Chauvelin, I assume, Chauvelin, I think it's Chauvelin. And he's this really sneaky kind of, I always picture him like he has like a hunch, and he's like kind of like a bad guy. And he has, I think he sniffs cocaine or something like that. Because, people back then had snuff boxes, and they'd, take it out, and like it was no big deal, and just be like, and he'd do that like all the time. Which is, in a way, is an attribute to his characteristics of a corrupt kind of detective person thing, whatever you want to call him. But so Marguerite, she's trying to figure out who she should fight for and stuff. Her friends or her family who are aristocrats and who are threatened to be killed because they went back to France. And she gets help from the Scarlet Pimpernel. And the whole book goes through her trying to figure out who the Scarlet Pimpernel actually is. And of course she gets captured here and there, blah blah blah. But so even though I assume it won't be a surprise to you who the Scarlet Pimpernel is, there's still moments when the Scarlet Pimpernel reveals himself, because he goes under disguise as this thing. He goes under disguises, and there was a part near the end where I was like, how did I not see that? How did I miss that? Even though it's old, this is from like the 1900s, it still gets you. So, and it's elegant. I love it. I love the plot. I love the characters. I love the whole, because I read this during a stream of, I don't know why, but I read a lot of books all of a sudden that took place in the French Revolution and the Reign of Terror, that sort of era. And this, it's pro-aristocrat in the end, but it also brings up arguments from the other side, because, Marguerite is like, the revolution is fine and everything, but can't kill like innocent aristocrats who have nothing to do with anything. They're just killing aristocrats for the sake of killing aristocrats because they were against aristocrats. So I like how it presents that. They explain why they're doing it. And it was very good. It's just a really entertaining book, which is also really, I have no problem with what it is. Because, for me to have a favorite book, it has to be so, in my view, it has to be so good that I wouldn't change a thing. Like, not even one, not even like the grammar or anything like that. Just nothing. Like, I wouldn't change. Because, like, things with, like, Star Wars, people complain about the prequels and, this and that, and Indiana Jones and things like that. Like, I like them, but they're not my favorite kind of stories. And, something like this. And I'm going to have other videos about my favorite books and series and things like that, and why I wouldn't want anything to be changed, just nothing. And, yeah, this is one of them. So, and it's also very good, if you want to learn more about this time period, it's a good start to do that. It's funny because I also read The Count of Monte Cristo, this other book, Scaramouche, which all take place around the same time. And it's interesting seeing other authors play around in the same time period and their views on things and things like that. I might do a video on that, I don't know, who knows. I still have to finish The Count of Monte Cristo because it's so fucking huge. But yes, please read this book if you're, please, it's really awesome. It's amazing. It's like 10 out of 10. Just, yeah, it's awesome. Just go read it. Just stop watching this fucking video and go read the damn book.